where they say put it in the first gear and just spray it. But putting it in the first gear and doing it for the mechanic, it is easy because they have been doing it thousands of vehicles. But for the customer it is new, and sometimes just in case if your finger is slightly bent inside, the finger itself will get cut off. And that amount of power, the amount of torque the vehicle is there, you can't do anything about it. Sometimes some people basically what they do, they spray the chain clean and they put it on a first gear and they try to put the cloth and hold the chain for some time so that it gets thorough clean. But that is not at all. Never ever recommended. Use the chain loop or a clean when the motorcycle is on. So sometimes it happens. Sometimes even when I was also actually cleaning, even without the vehicle was not on, I was trying to clean it. Like I was just pulling the chain. The moment the chain went through the sprocket, and I was trying to hold on to the chain, but in just a fraction of a second, my finger slightly went inside the sprocket. Even though I know so much also about it, and that I know the skin peeled off. Just imagine if the vehicle was on the running, then I'd have lost my finger. So don't try to do it when the vehicle is on.
Do we have to do it with a cloth or a brush?
Brush, you do it. Never ever use a cloth. Just in case if you don't have it, then it is different scenario. But never rotate that wheel. Never do all of that. So any which way nowadays you get the spray, you get the spray cans. Along with that you have a long straw. Where from the distance you can basically spray. So spray it, even though if it is slightly dirty also it's still fine. But you know on the YouTube videos they say अच्छा से साफ करो, thoroughly साफ करो. वो साफ ज़्यादा करने के चक्कर में there is a lot of risk also. Chain it's okay, if it is gone it's fine. But finger hand is something which is very much important. And if we don't do a chain lubrication, then what happens is eventually the chain sprocket will wear off much more faster than there is no life for a chain sprocket as such. But if you maintain it, then approximately it will go up to 10,000 to 15,000, depends upon your ride. But if you are not using the chain sprocket at all, I mean chain clean at all, then the chain sprocket can wear off. Then you will start having a lot of noise. Don't spray it, as Mubashir said. When you overspray it, it starts spilling over the tire. So when it spills over the tire on the left side section where you have a chain, so when you take a turning on the left side, because you have a loop on the tire, so the vehicle will slide and you will end up falling. So that is also something which, so you have to spray it, leave it. The moment you spray it also, don't start the bike and you start ripping it. What happens is it starts spilling over. So you just spray it, leave the bike for at least half an hour, 1 hour of time, then take it, ride it very gradually. Don't just start pressurizing the bike. What happens is it starts spilling over. So it has to settle down also. You have links, so in between the links, the loop should be properly settled. Yeah.
So if you are not starting the bike and doing it, and manual గా తిప్పుకుంటే చేయమంటున్నారా స్ప్రే?
అవును సార్, మీరు సపోజ్ పెడల్ స్టాండ్ పెట్టారు, మీరు యాంటీ క్లాక్ వైజ్ తిప్పాలి టైర్ యాంటీ క్లాక్ వైజ్ తిప్పారనుకోండి, వెనక్కి తిప్పారనుకోండి, మీకు ఏమైపోతుంది అంటే చైన్ బేసిక్ గా ఇలా రొటేట్ అవుతా ఉంటుంది. స్ప్రే చేసేయండి.
మాన్యువల్ గా తిప్పుతాను.
మాన్యువల్ కొద్ది తిప్పండి, ఆపండి, స్ప్రే చేయండి, తిప్పండి, ఆపండి, స్ప్రే చేయండి. తిప్పుకుంటే స్ప్రే చేయడం కూడా కొద్దిగా రిస్కే అనమాట. అప్పుడప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనం చేస్తున్నాం, రెండు చేసే వారికి పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంది. సో కొట్టేసి ఇడిసేసేయండి. చైన్ క్లీన్ ఒకసారి వాడిన తర్వాత ఏంటంటే వన్స్ యూ డూ ద చైన్ క్లీన్, C1 విచ్ Mubashir is recommending, after that leave the vehicle for some time, then get the thorough wash. After the wash also you should not have water on the chain. It should get dry, so leave the motorcycle for some time in the sun and then later on you lube it. So there are some of the customers, when they are so good at lubing that, you know, the chain taking care, that there are some of the motorcycles which have last for 15,000, 18,000 also. And still there is a life in the chain. It is because of the maintenance. Of course, that improves the performance also.
So how frequently should we wash?
You're talking about the motorcycle
body wash. Yeah.
Body wash, it is purely depend upon how you're riding and how much dust is getting settled on your motorcycle. So, but then again, sir, when you're getting the motorcycle washed also, make sure that it is being washed with the foam. Because usually when you go to a normal washing shop, they probably use a shampoo. Shampoo is used for what basically? Shampoo is used for hair, right? Hair. So that is something which you're using it for the motorcycle. Then of course, rust formation could be there. And at the same time, once after the wash, what they'll do, they'll just put the cloth and they'll wipe it and leave it in the sun. There will be some of the small areas, closed areas where the water is still there, that converts into a moisture, then the rust. But here when we wash it, we have a air pressure gun, so we put the air near the switches also, where there is no rust formation, there is no starting problem, indicator issue, all those, nothing is there. So it's not that recommended that you have to get it done here only. Not trying to promote that, but yeah, whenever you're going to get the washing done, make sure that they use a foam. Make sure that they use the air pressure right after the wash.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you leave it, rust, sludge formation, all these formations will definitely arise, and simultaneously your wiring kit can also get burned if there is a water settled for quite some time and you are immediately starting. If you see normal washing areas, you immediately start,
Yes.
and they keep starting, they keep kicking. The reason being the water is formed at the spark plug. So if you get it done with this, a specialized person who is already into washing, who has already information on that, because these vehicles are not like a normal vehicle which has a carburetor. Start नहीं हो तो carburetor tune कर लिए, start नहीं हो तो kick मार के start कर लिए. These vehicles are highly performance designed motorcycle which require that kind of a pampering. If you are trying to treat this motorcycle like a normal bike, which you probably was be using like 15-20 years back, where there was no technology, then these bikes are not going to be happy with you. So that's one thing which you'll have to be very much careful. So washing, it should be with the foam. Sometimes they use basic, fluid which is like floor cleaning. Also, some people use it and just wash it. Bas jhaaj dikhna unko, just there should be a foam. That's it. साफ हो गया. Diesel, and all not required. Paint will get damaged. Then over a period of time, you will come and start questioning us कि this rust हो गया. ये क्या है? So this is something. So for every act there is always an impact. So that has to be precisely, accurately done with the expert advice. Otherwise, you can get it done with ourselves because we have people here.
Sir, for scratches, what you have to do, sir?
See, sir. First thing, you can get the Tefloning done, or you can get the ceramic coating done. And the third option, you have a PPF, which is paint protection film. So these three things, if you are using it, then over a period of time also, even if you have a scratch, not a scratch in the sense paint peel off, a sole mark. Sole mark is something that the paint is not peeled off. Over the paint, you have a glass coat, which is called a clear coat also. So on that, if you have a slight marks also, if you do a rubbing polish, that will go off.
Okay.
But then again, the moment you purchase a bike, get the detailing done, get the Teflon coating done. Over a period of time, even if you are getting the polishing done, that whatever sole marks are there, that will be removed.
Okay.
Not 100%, but yeah, 90% it is possible. Yeah.
And one more thing, make sure that when you are washing outside, so they don't keep pressure on the speedometer, which is a digital one, and they will keep pressure on the wiring areas also to clean that area, but it is not required. So make sure that they don't keep full pressure on it. Again, customers will call me if bike is not starting after washing.
And something more dangerous part also, like we have a radiator for these motorcycles. So when the high pressure is hit on the motorcycle fence, the fence will get damaged. The radiator is gone. What is the cost of the radiator? 10,000 plus. So कभी कभार क्या होता है, जोश में मारते जाएगा वो, radiator पे भी मार देगा, वो pressure से fence will get.
Cleaning is important, but even though that much cleaning is
Limitation.
So fence, once it is gone, then you'll have to, then the coolant will start vomiting, the coolant will start leaking from the radiator.
That is
So-
the reason again bikes get overheated. Again, that symbols will come on the speedometer. That might be also.
Radiator is very much careful, so we have to educate our people. Of course, they know about it. So we don't hit directly. We just try to put some water on that, and that particular part is not required cleaning also.
Okay.
Only thing is, if you are riding in a very mud area where you're doing an off-road, there's a lot of mud is settled in your radiator, then you can just put with the mug, you can just clear it off. Not
What is the life of radiator?
It depends upon. So there is no such case where it has been reported at 5,000 kilometers is gone. But it is purely depends upon how you are riding it, how you are maintaining the coolant level. So there is no such kilometer. Is there any special
No,
kilometers? There is no such kilometers as.
Just we have to change the coolant 36,000 kilometers or 33 years to one.
And as Mobishin was saying, removing the cap is from the radiator. Radiator have a cap. Probably some people they think that let me put up the coolant. They get confused where to add the coolant. I should add in the coolant reservoir, which is a box, or in the radiator itself. So when you are adding in the radiator when it is hot, so that will hit so in a high pressure that it can basically crack your skull also. That much pressure it will basically create. So whatever you plan to do it, no problem. But before doing it, no problem, call Mobishin. Because you from the coolant tank only the coolant has been pulled inside the radiator. Radiator actually sucks the coolant from the coolant tank. So sometimes the coolant tank level is very drop. that means the coolant has been thoroughly sucked and too much of coolant is still there in the radiator. So over a period of time, what happens is that particular coolant from the radiator, it goes back to the reservoir again, which we basically have. So any particular questions also you have, please raise it, so you will clear it also.
So after that, air is a main issue that we are filling in our tires. So the life of the tire also depends on the air. Okay. So how? So there is a particular PSI and particular pressure to the front tire and the rear tire. So whenever we are going to a petrol pump, so we are filling the air. So 40, 50, 60. Some of the customers are bringing here that bike is getting jump. So we are checking thoroughly and we are seeing everything. So after that we check the air pressure. It is 60, 70 somewhere else. So you are filling it, not a problem. But how a tire should contact the ground? While it is not contacting properly, what will happen? I'll show you. Okay. So it is the ground. So
Also, please do let us know which air, because there are nitrogen.
Yeah, I'll say you. I'll say that. So there are three types. So if you are filling air more than the air required, like if you are filling up to 40, 50, 60 psi, so it will contact the ground, but only at a small point. Okay. So if you are not filling the air as much as required, so it is less than the 30, 20 psi, whichever is required. I will share you the psis in the group also. So for particular model, there is a particular air pressure is there for front end here. So if it is not filling, it will contact throughout the tire. So it is not required. So when it is contacting throughout the tire, so the mileage will be dropped. Okay. So when it is not contacting proper, only contacting at a point, so it will not give you the grip. So if you are maintaining the proper PSI, proper air in the front and rear tires, then it will contact the main portion. So for this portion, you will get the exact grip, you will get the exact mileage, bike will not jump. So maintaining the air pressure is also very important. Okay, make sure that they are not filling your bike with 40, 50, 60 psi and the bike gets jumped and it will get swollen up like if you are filling more air. So after the third set, as said, nitrogen is there and air is there. What will nitrogen do? What will air will do? Air will do its work like air is available at every petrol station, so you can go and fill the air. But nitrogen do one more extra thing, that it will cool the air. So we noticed that there are some cracks on our tires after 1 year or after 2 years. It will do less. It will cool the tire, and there is no chances of marks, like what we say.
Stretch marks.
Yeah.
So basically, like when it comes to the tires, the contact patch which Mungoshi was talking about, the less contact patch, the less grip, the more contact patch, then again it will affect your overall mileage. So it should be accurately filled based on the suggestion, whatever the OEM is giving. But at the same time, nitrogen, if you're planning to fill it, not a problem at all. But at the same time, you will not get the nitrogen throughout all the outlets. So that's the biggest problem. Now the nitrogen come ho gaya, abhi nitrogen come ho gaya, you're not getting the time to fill it up, and you're going on riding. And sometimes you may give it to your friend or a cousin. He unknowingly getting it filled a normal one. Then that's the biggest challenge. The tire can bust also.
Okay.
First thing, tire can bust. And second thing, when you're filling up the nitrogen, the problem is the tire is anyways it's a lightweight. And at the same time, tire life could be better. But I would still recommend that go with the normal air. Nitrogen is mostly suggested for the cars. You have 4 tires, heavy SUVs especially. When you have a heavy SUVs and when you're doing a lot of cross country and you're doing a lot of off-roading, so the tire temperature increases. So when the tire temperature increases, that basically decreases if it is a nitrogen, specifically for the cars. For the motorcycle, I would not at all recommend, because in fact if your tire is lightweight, then you will eventually lose the grip also. अगर गाड़ी का टायर ही हल्का हो गया तो आपको grip ही नहीं मिलेगा. So sometimes some customers are also there that there are vehicles which are tube tires and they're filling nitrogen. On top of that, they saw some video where there is some particular liquid. If you inject that, तो आपका tube is
पंचर फ्री.
तो वैसा कस्टमर थोड़े फील करें where the tire blasted at 120 kilometers per hour and somehow nothing happened to the customer. So never ever try to improvise whatever the videos are being. I'm not against the video or YouTubers, but at the same time something which the company is recommending, try to follow that. Improvisation could be there when you're picking up the different brands, such as you have a coolant, you have a superior coolant, you have a superior